I just want to preface this by saying I do not own any content or music content that is shown or played in my videos. I only own my voice, the stories, and the characters that I'll be writing, reading, and creating with. I will let you know in the description if they are another person's, and I will state which characters are mine and which are someone else's. Hope you enjoy. Angel put on Kara's jacket and then put on Destruction's cloak as she grabbed her scythe. She walked out the doors and pulled the cloak's hood up, and she growled as she began to walk and gather up the broken pieces of what the shadow left behind. Faye slowly opened her eyes and winced at the sunlight, and once her vision went back to normal, she looked around. Blood coated the walls, and bloody tools were on a tray on the table to the right. She looked in front and saw the person she was hoping to see. Her mother. I'd say, Faye, very clever getting yourself captured like that. Nice kill, by the way. The look on Aaron's face was priceless. It was like, what the hell? My girlfriend just killed me. Shadow said and laughed at the end a bit. Faye kept her head down and showed no reaction to her mother's comment. What's wrong? Scared of me? Are you disgusted in me? I can't tell through your dead eyes. Shadow smirked and grabbed Faye by the hair and looked her in the eyes. She had no emotion in her eyes, and they were a grayish-red color. She smirked at her eyes, and Faye stared at her. I've been dead inside for years. For a long time. And you and Dad never cared, apparently. Hell, Dad threatened to send me to a mental asylum when we got into a fight, and you are no better. I mean, look at you. You've killed hundreds of people. You are a monster. It's a joke I ever called you my mom, Faye replied in a monotone voice. Shadow laughed. That is the exact line of what your pathetic and weak sister said before she literally lost her mind, Shadow said while laughing like a maniac. That got Faye to react. Faye hunched forward and threw up as she knew someone had either beaten or shot Zuri's brains out. Both were equally disturbing and horrifying. You're sick! Faye screamed at Shadow as she fought against the restraints. Faye felt a very sharp pain in her soul, and it made her cry out in pain. And Shadow looked at her as blood dripped out of her mouth and nose. Angel growled at who used to be her older brother, who protected her at all costs, even in his own life. He was just a husk of who he used to be, as his eyes laid as empty voids of nothing. She gripped onto her scythe and charged at Goth. She knew it was going to be the end of her, but she was not going to go down without a fight. Claw sat chained to a chair as Dexter finished dismembering someone else and threw the lung of the victim at her. She only dry-gagged at this point. This had been going on for hours, days it felt like to her. Dexter would dismember a victim and throw an organ or bone at her. He also hurt her by slicing her arms and getting very close to her eye with the tip of a knife. She felt a mix of numb and fear as Dexter turned to her, saw in hand, and he walked over to her. Any words to say, darling? You've been so silent. The only noise I've heard of you is when you throw up, he said. Claude didn't look up. Fuck. You son of a bitch, Claw managed to say. Dexter smirked and kneeled down to her level, then curled his finger under her chin and tilted her head up a bit. Your eyes show such defiance. It's like a masterpiece, he said to her. She felt grossed out by this new version of Dexter. He was creepy, disgusting, and honestly kind of lewd. She felt so powerless against all of this, and it scared her, because this Dexter knew she was his girlfriend, and was scared to see where he would go with this. Even if she wasn't his girlfriend, she would be scared regardless of what this Dexter would do to her. She was trying so hard not to shake that she couldn't focus properly on anything else, and her mouth was moving before her brain. Your voice is so lovely. Any other things you'd like to say to me? Dexter smirked. Claude didn't respond for a while. I miss Dexter, she said with a few tears in her eyes as she kept her head down. Oh, he's right here, darling, Dexter said to her. You're not him! The Dexter I know wouldn't do this to people who didn't deserve it. He wouldn't hurt innocent people. Where's the real Dexter? Where's my Dexter? Klaus screamed, and it made Dexter step back as tears flowed down Klaus' face. Dexter took a knife off the table and unbuttoned Klaus' shirt, which had started to become red with blood at this point, and he looked at her. She felt disgusting as Dexter gently dragged his knife across her collarbone. She stayed resilient as the blood dripped down her chest, and she heard Dexter's sob buzz loudly near her ear. She turned her head a bit to see Dexter with a saw to her arm. Do your worst, Klaus said, and looked away and tensed up. Klaus screamed in agony as Dexter's saw blade sliced through her arm, and blood sprayed onto his face and hers, and Dexter laughed like an insane person. She started to black out when the saw was taken out of her arm and powered off, and she heard it hit the ground with a bang. Claw. Oh my God, was the last thing she heard Dexter say, shakily, before she passed out. Skylar walked into Daniel's house again and noticed the bodies in the living room were gone. She looked around in a panic when Daniel suddenly jumped out from behind the door and grabbed her by the throat, pinning her to the floor. She grabbed at his hands while gasping for air. Daniel held a knife to Skylar's chest and was death-glaring her. Daniel? Please don't do this, Skylar managed to choke out. You killed me. Why else would you be wearing my jacket? Token of your victory. You killed me once and I won't let it happen again. You killed me, my siblings, my family. You killed my girlfriend. You killed Skylar. I won't let it happen again, Daniel growled at her. It's me, Daniel. It's Skylar, she choked out and gasped. Liar, Daniel growled at her. She grabbed the flower clip he gave her out of her pocket and showed it to him. She felt the pressure on her neck release, and she pushed Daniel off of her and backed away to regain her breath. She coughed and rubbed her neck a bit. She looked at Daniel as he dropped the knife, and she hugged him tightly. Daniel! She cried into him. He held on to her and stroked her hair as she cried into him. My head hurts, he said. You did shoot yourself in the head, Daniel said, wiping her face off. I what? Daniel exclaimed. Angel stood over Goth's jacket that was now covered in dust and blood, and was breathing heavily. Thanks, Rainbow, she panted as Rainbow put a hand on her shoulder. Hey, you brought me back, and that thing killed my kids. I want revenge just as much as you do, Rainbow said. Now it's time to start bringing some key people back, she said, and Angel nodded as they both got to work bringing people back. Shadow was confused on what was happening to Faye as her eyes flared up and she coughed up blood. How? You're not supposed to have magic, Shadow said as Faye snapped the ropes that were holding her, and she laughed a bit, coughing up more blood as pain spread through her chest. Guess you've just run out of time.